Chairman. Mr. Arshai, I want to start off with a couple of quick questions, if you will. Should Congress make it easier for unions to file trade petitions by lowering minimum percentage thresholds for a union to show interest in anti-dumping and countervailing duty cases?
I agree with that statement. Thank you for the question, Mr. Pascrell. For the most part, especially in our industry, most of the major tire manufacturers in the United States have plants in China, and they don't want to get anywhere near a trade case that we bring to the International Trade Commission because they all fear repercussion. And, you know, talking to our legislative representatives, they're not inexpensive cases to bring. And when we go before the ITC, China has the best lawyers money can buy. They're very hard to prove. They don't give up the information easy. I believe our most expensive case might have been the truck and bus. It was $3 million to bring in. They don't get that type of dues money from all the union rubber workers in the U.S. combined in a year.
My second question is, trade cases cost a lot of time, a lot of money. If you want to file, that's what you got to look forward to. How should the federal government support easing this complicated process for smaller companies and unions? Just quickly, give me an idea of what you see ahead, you would like to see ahead.
What we'd like to see is, number one, a way where you don't have to show 3 years of injury before you bring a case, because usually by that time you may be so damaged you never recover. But also, you know, it would be nice to see maybe even if the government could bring cases for us, or representatives, or, you know, smaller companies not having, you know, the money to bring a case, have some sort of advocacy there for them. But, you know, we actually had one case where a major tire company testified against us because they made the type of tire overseas.
Thank you for your brief responses. We need to talk a lot more about that, because I think something can be done in this area for everybody's health. And welcome to everybody. Witnesses were excellent, Mr. Chairman. All of them, you look back at their records, and they've done about everything. And I don't know how long he lasted in his business, Mr. Atkins, 30 years, but it's not bad. Congratulations. Working with both business and labor. Not an easy task, but one worthwhile for the economy, I believe. Nearly 40% of the nation's population live in the tri-state area. Yes. So welcome. Having a field hearing here at the busy port of New York and New Jersey is definitely welcome. We're just a golf shot from the Garden State. Quite happy to show the committee more real folks living in Paterson, New Jersey, my hometown. The operations at global container terminals underscore the vital role the federal government plays in a vibrant economy. The federal government worked with the Port Authority on a $1.8 billion dredging project here. This project ensured the terminals would welcome big ships with speed and efficiency. That was the promise. Strong federal partnership with the Army Corps dredged our region's harbor 50 feet. Correct me if I'm wrong. It helped us maintain our leading global shipping destination. But the Army Corps was a valuable agency to what you were trying to do with this port. But considering their budget plan, the other side, I respect deeply, but it doesn't make sense, because we have to agree in order to do what we promised, which we did not do. Just 13 days ago, we passed a terrible plan that hacks federal spending by at least 22%. This would be the biggest cut to non-defense programs in our history. Republicans are following the footsteps of their disgraced and indicted leader. Mr. Trump tried to chop 16%, $1 billion from the Army Corps' budget. Those are the facts. So the budget would gut the Department of Homeland Security. It could devastate our economic future and trade enforcement. So it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to put the money where your mouth is and do it if it's meaningful. Rolling back funding would slash customs frontline enforcement by 2,400 agents. Sounds like the IRS 10 years ago. These cuts would cripple our forced labor enforcement. Talk is cheap. I don't have to tell you, Mr. Atkins. So it's going to undo our work if we pass this budget. I'm a longtime champion of strong trade enforcement, but it is not free. I've long pushed for more funding for Customs Trade Office. Cuts of the magnitude my colleagues have proposed are devastating and reckless. Let's be very honest about these cuts, especially since we see the importance of federal investments right here today in Staten Island, USA. Thank you all for being here. Testimony was excellent. I'm going back to Washington in a few minutes to fight the fight. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.